This is Who to Watch For with Manny Supreme.
Another edition of Who to Watch For with me, the most energetic entertainer, Manny Supreme. One time for my guys, DJ Drama, Don Cannon, DJ Scrib, always spinning that new shit, as John would say. One time for TC, man. Season 3, episode. Who knows? But we're here with legendary platinum award-winning producer, Popstar Benny.
Yes, sir.
We gotta get like the woo track system. We ain't gonna insert it in post. What's up, man?
Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. First off, G-Shot Gang is crazy.
Yes, sir.
Fire. How you feeling, man? What's new? What you been working on?
Man, just been studying, connecting. You know, trying to level up the skills, to stack beats.
Yeah.
Plan out who all I'm trying to work with.
Yeah.
The sounds I'm going for this year, type shit.
Fire. You were spending some time out in LA. You back here in the A.
Yes, sir.
What were some things you out there working on in LA?
I had just signed a publishing deal with Pulse / American.
Fire.
So I was out there, you know, just being in the little industry mix, you know, meeting people, shaking hands, doing sessions, like, you know, just the typical like LA experience.
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure. So you said you signed with Pulse.
Yeah.
What is that for people who watch who may not know?
For publishing deals, it's like for producers, it's basically instead of like a regular record deal, the label, the company, like they go and like get my royalties for like just different records I work on.
Fire. How'd you get connected with them?
It was it's my now current manager, but it was an A&R who works with them closely on the American side. Lando, who, you know, he was like a big fan of me and Bear for like 2-3 years. So
Fire.
he saw we was out in LA randomly, told us to come through to the studio, like hit off a crazy vibe and pulled up like 3-4 times that week. And by the like end of the week, you know, we started the conversations with like the higher ups at the company and all that.
That's fine. Man, Oasis, man, definitely. I was excited when you dropped this last year. I mean, you got Vade on there, Coco and Claire. How did you link up with Coco and Claire? Shout out my boy Jordan, my partner with Uses Radio. He first put me on to them. It was one of the songs that you had dropped with them. How did you first link up with them?
Honestly, just like having mutual homies and stuff. I think maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, they might have been just like doing songs and shows and like parties with some of my homies. So they were like on my radar. And then, you know, it's kind of as time went, I think I might have, they had like a show in Atlanta. I might have DJ'd, open DJ set, then, you know, sent them like a pack and, you know, we just kept it going.
Yeah, that's fire. You have such a distinct sound when it comes to underground. And it was funny when Jordan had played me one of the songs from Coco and Claire that you produced. I was like, I know this is Benny, you know? How were you able to create such a defined sound? Like, to me, when I hear your music, it's like you watch Piece by Piece with Pharrell, right? So like when he was explaining, like when you hear, like when he used to hear beats, he sees like sounds and stuff. That's the type of feeling I hear when I hear Popstar Benny. I hear Popstar FM, you know, Popstar Worldwide. What and what'd you say was like your earlier inspiration, like even music wise, to help you find like Benny sound?
Honestly, I feel like one of the like biggest defining albums was the Grillz Demon Days.
Fire.
Like Feel Good Inc. and a couple other songs.
Yeah.
That album, you know, it's like a blend of like every genre.
Everything, yeah.
They got like some EDM, they got like some folk type tracks, they got like hip hop, pop, just a dip into everything. And the fact that like, you know, 1-2 producers behind it were like crafting a whole like world with the sounds, you know, that went every direction. I felt like that was like a big inspiration of like I could really, you know, dip into it all type shit.
That's fire. What can you say were like some earlier pieces of hip hop that stuck out to you when you were younger?
When I was younger, definitely was a big Neptunes fan. Everything they produced, you know, got my attention. Was a big Kanye, Lupe, and then I mean, just growing up in the South, you know, like everything that came on the radio was like, you know, inspiration. But yeah, definitely like the Neptunes and Kanye early.
Facts. I have to agree. What would you say was like your first earlier times experimenting with making beats?
Probably yeah, I started back when I was in 7th grade, and I was like being a Soulja Boy fan. You know, he used to have the it's just like crazy, but he would like have like vlogs back then. And he'd be showing his computer, like he just made the beat in his room, and like saw it'd be like the same software. So I downloaded the FL Studio demo on my computer, and I downloaded it. I'm clicking through, and it's like all the same exact sounds that he used to make Crank That. So like just off hearing that and like seeing how crazy he took that, like that just opened my eyes to it.
That's fire.
Yeah.
When you first started making beats, like what would be your process? Were you like, would you remake certain beats, trying to make beats that you like, of songs that you like, fucked with, or like what was your process?
Honestly, I was trying to, because I was only 12, so I didn't really understand like the levels to some of the
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
I was
yeah.
hearing. Because like there'd be some shit that you hear growing up that's like actually a sample. So it's like you're 12 years old and you trying to make like seasoned jazz, musician. So at first I was kind of like, damn, like some of my beats don't sound how this shit sounded. But then I did get into sampling, and then really just like studying music theory a little bit and like going down the rabbit hole, like getting the same skills as like some of the jazz and actual like players I'd be hearing on these
Yeah.
samples.
That's fire. That's fire. What would you say has been like an unexpected thing that you've learned about yourself when producing?
I think honestly it's that simplicity is the less is more.
Right?
I feel like going into it, you want to make like the biggest, grandest, most like over the top beats, but it's like every situation don't like really call for that. Cause like you listen to the Neptunes or, any like early 2000s producers, 90s, 80s producers, it's like they didn't have, FL Studio or Pro Tools to load up, 100 tracks if they want to.
Exactly.
Like, they could only maybe have like 10 drum sounds. So that's the maximum, type shit. They could only have so many keyboards on the beat. But those are songs that we still playing, 30, 40 years later,
Yeah.
50, 60 years later for some of these shits now. So it's like, just realizing that, it don't gotta like do the most. It just gotta be good.
Yeah.
It just gotta be good.
Outside of hip hop, what genre do you find yourself listening to most?
Probably like R&B, soul R&B.
Mm.
Yeah, then indie rock and like EDM, but definitely like the past like year and a half, I've been listening to like so much early 2000s, 90s, 80s, 70s, like R&B, soul, and all that.
Nice.
Just studying.
That's fire. That's fire. Wiz with Veda and Sad Boy has definitely been one of my favorite releases from you. So far, how'd you link up with them?
Same, similar thing. Really with everyone on the album, it's people that I've either been running into, at shows or studio sessions, or maybe even just like going to kick it with a homie, and then they might have been there, ran into them randomly. But then the flip side, like all people that like I really see having like a presence, whether it be they do a show and they have their dedicated fans in the front screaming for them, or if they just scrolling through Instagram, I might be watching stories and be seeing, certain girls using certain, artist songs for their stories and stuff. So just like really seeing that, like I said, they got a presence, and just been running into them over the years. For Veda, is an easy thing. And then
Shout out to Veda.
big shout out to Veda. And for Sad Boy, we had like some overlap with the label that I was working with for the album.
All right, shout out to Sad Boy, man.
Big shout.
Super dope. My sister Anycia, one of my first earlier songs, me ever even listening to her, was So What. And that was such a highly anticipated song. I remember being on the road with her and fans, especially I remember her DC show was like, get it clear, get it clear. Like, oh my gosh. And it was such a dope experience seeing like how a record can change your life, and that was one of the songs that KD, was like, yo, she's the one off this one.
Yeah, that was crazy.
How did you and Anycia first meet, and like, did you guys make that song together? How did that whole song even come about?
Yeah, like I said, for everyone else, it's similar thing. I'd see her out at different shows and events. I didn't even know she made music at first. It was like, she would be homies with some of my homies, so I would just like see her out. And then when she started like dropping a bit more, our homie Reggie, he was like shooting her a bunch. So it was just a natural thing. Like, all right, let me send her a pack, because I think she had hit me up and asked me like to sample a specific song from that early 2000s like Film Off Sierra type era, and then like I threw in the So What beat, just like, all right, this is a similar vibe, and it's like one of my favorite songs ever.
Yeah.
So like I sampled that one too, and just texted it to her, and then yeah, she sent me a song back in a couple days.
That's fire. When did you first start to see it blow up?
As soon as well, honestly, because she had previewed it like way earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And she dropped the music video snippet that ended up really just being the video. But she dropped like a preview of the video, and it blew up that week. Like that was like June, July maybe. But in January, she just dropped a quick like in the studio preview, and a lot of people were like reacting real positively to it.
Yeah.
So it was in the back of my mind, like, okay, whenever she puts the song out, is one that like people already feeling.
Yeah. Right. What are 2 things you would say are like on your producer bucket list this year? So this time next year when I see you, it's gonna be, yo, that boy Benny got it done, man.
Producer bucket list for 2025, man. I'm trying to take it all the way there. I'm trying to produce for Beyonce, you know, whether it just sits in the vault for this time next year or, you know, it actually is already came out by this time next year. That's
Yeah.
one thing. But just to like have that session, I feel like that's like big bucket list. And number 2, probably trying to produce some music for a video game.
That would be fire.
Yeah, because I mean, it would be cool that if they like use my song or a song I produced, like, you know, some like menu background music. But like, if I get the chance, like, really like make the like soundtrack
For a game.
for a game, that'd be crazy.
That'd be fire.
So
I would
that-
definitely download that, pay top dollar for that one for sure.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you've been producing for such a minute now. You've been connecting. I love the wide range of your music, right? I mean, from raw wave to Anycia, right? Where do you find the most enjoyment in your sounds or making beats? Or do you have some that you favor over others? Or like, where do you find your most happiness with your sound?
Really, just the happiness really just comes in the range. Like the fact that, you know, I'm able to like make some extra, you know, sad, emotional type stuff, send it over to Rob.
Yeah.
And then like later that day, I might be, you know, feeling some extra smooth, you know, player type shit, can text it over to Tony. Then I might, you know, eat a bunch of candy and be feeling extra raged out and send Bear some beats. And, you know, just being able to have for whatever, you know, pocket I'm feeling, like being able to have people to send stuff to. That's the thing.
That's fire. I mean, being a platinum producer, right? How did you first get connected with Raw Wave?
And that was definitely crazy. Cause I just like on some domino effect shit, you know, I was locked in with 645 AR, Tony Snow, 10K, like back in like 2017. So we were like dropping you know, a bunch of little mixtape compilations on SoundCloud, and then we started getting, you know, a bit of industry attention. So it was this label Alamo. They were like getting a whole bunch of people like right at the top of the internet, and like Rod Wave was going crazy in Florida. So one of the A&Rs from there, you know, had seen my stuff with like Tony and all of them, and like he hit me up and he was like, there were 2 artists from Alamo, like they were gonna be in Atlanta, like at a studio for like a week or so, you know. So if I wanted to pull up and play some beats, I'd come through. So I went, and like Rod was in the middle of recording the song, so I went into the other room and you know, pulled out my laptop, and like all the other producers who were playing beats, they already had like their like 5-10 beats, you know, picked out. So they plug it up, you know, the guy was like straight on them. So it was like finally my turn. So I plugged up my laptop, and that was like one of my first like bigger label type sessions. So I didn't even like know the you know, etiquette, like, oh, come with some prepared type shit. So I just had my whole folder. So I just started playing him beats, but like his vibe, my vibe, 2 completely different types of things. So he was like, every beat, he would just be like, no. You know, I'd probably get like 5-10 seconds, sometimes like 2-3 seconds. He'd tell me no, but it worked out so crazy because Rod Wave's manager, he'd be going back and forth between the rooms while I was playing stuff. So he'd hear me, you know, play the more like R&B, more melodic type stuff, and be like, oh, this one, when you get in the room with Rod, you know, pull it up type thing. So like I said, I might have went through like 50, 60 beats, then finally got in the room with Rod and started pulling up all the ones that his manager was like, you know, he'd probably feel. And it just happened. Like he picked out like 6 beats, and then he started freestyling to one of them, and the song he was freestyling to, he ended up dropping on the first project I had with him. And like it was like 70% of the song was from the freestyle that he has.
All
Like,
right.
it just kicked. So then from there, like, even because he's like superstar level now, it's like he keep getting like bigger and bigger, like status wise, and then he like every so often, like every year, 8 months or so, he'll just like hit me up out the blue on Instagram and be like, this is my new number, send some beats type shit. So
That's hard.
he himself, no matter like how big he's gotten, has been like intentional about like hitting me up and still trying to work.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it, bro.
That's real, man. Shout out to Rod Wave. Definitely making an impact and showing, what hard ticket sales are. He's selling out everywhere, man.
Right.
Hey, man, we got Popstar Benny here. Another edition of Who to Watch For right here on Shade 45.